This has been breaking news.
Good morning. Happy 1st of October. Not only it's a brand new month, but it feels like a brand new season. Certainly a brand new weather pattern. You'll feel it as soon as you step out the door. Cold front has gone by and it's brought in a cool, crisp autumn feel. Temperatures today are impacted by that. From the 80s we had yesterday, barely to 70 degrees. We're in the 60s under sunshine. It's cool. It's breezy. It's lovely. It gets even cooler tonight. A warm up ahead over the weekend.
Two women in their 70s allegedly harassed for years in their rent-regulated apartments. Now their landlord has been charged. These pictures show the conditions inside their Chelsea apartment. Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg says the landlord wanted to sell the building, and at one point he allegedly posted notices threatening tenants with arrest if they did not leave.
At what point do the actions of a landlord become criminal?
A pattern of the elevator being out, as we allege here, no heat during the winter months, flooding and leaks.
There's our office, the Department of Investigation, there's the district attorney's office. We are here to receive complaints.
The law used here specifically protects rent-regulated tenants, but we're told agencies like DOI or DOB can take action to protect all New Yorkers.
Good morning. Nice to see you on this Wednesday morning, 1st of October. And just like that, it feels like fall air has arrived, and it's only here for a limited time. So enjoy it while we've got it. Tons of sunshine. Highs. These are highs, not lows. They look like our lows the last couple of days. Upper 60s, sunny, cool. And there's a breeze that accompanies this cooler air too. So it does add a little bit to the chill, but it feels really good in the sun. That breeze is with us all day long, and it still hangs out tonight. So it does add to kind of a brisk feel overnight. Down to 50 in the city. That means 40s, 30s common. Remember the freeze warning we have for parts of Ulster and frost advisory for Sullivan. It's a fall classic tomorrow. It's even cooler out the door, sunny and cool. And that's how we finish off the week with a warming trend up to 70 by Friday. Weekend gets even warmer in a hurry, up to 80 by Sunday.
Well, Pfizer has agreed to a deal with the Trump administration that will lower the cost of prescription drugs for Medicaid. Under the agreement, the New York-based drug maker will charge most favored nation pricing to Medicaid. That involves matching the lowest price offered in other developed nations. Pfizer also guarantees the same pricing on newly launched drugs. The company also agreed to participate in a new website the administration plans to start calling Trump RX, which will allow people to buy drugs directly from manufacturers at discounted prices. Magic mushrooms as a medical treatment. It's not your typical prescription drug, but there is a push by some New York State lawmakers to legalize the key ingredient in them, so-called psilocybin.
Our health reporter Jenna D'Angelo spoke with an FDNY firefighter who says it changed his life.
26 firemen I knew on a first-name basis were killed on that day.
Retired FDNY firefighter Joe McKay reflects on the heartbreak of 9/11, sifting through rubble and attending funerals.
I was hitting rock bottom, and then I woke up at 1 in the morning feeling like someone had stabbed me in the eye with like a burning hot ice pick.
Diagnosed with cluster headaches, he struggled for years.
I lost my career, my identity. I got hooked on prescription painkillers.
Desperate for a solution, he He says he came across a study that found psychedelics could help, especially psilocybin, the same compound found in magic mushrooms.
Nothing that any of the doctors had prescribed for me even came close. It gave me my life back.
Now a board member of Cluster Busters, he's advocating for others, sharing his personal experience with the New York State Assembly Committee on Health.
I come to you today to ask that you pass legislation that will allow us access to this substance in a legal way and in a way that promotes safe consumption.
Among speakers, many health professionals at a public hearing Tuesday examining the potential medicinal value and risks of psilocybin.
Psilocybin has been granted breakthrough therapy status by the FDA for a number of indications.
Psilocybin is classified as a Schedule I controlled substance, which, according to the DEA, are defined as drugs with no currently accepted medical use and high potential for abuse. But speakers here outlining its potential benefit to treat mental health conditions.
The question before us is not whether there is medicinal value and risk. The question is whether we will create a framework that protects well-being, educates the public.
The hearing follows the introduction of several bills in the state legislature, including one by Assemblywoman Amy Paulin.
We need to look at them with a fine-tooth comb and get the elements of all of them to be the best they can be, to reflect what we're listening and learning about.
While not legal under federal law, some states like Oregon and Colorado allow supervised psilocybin treatment for adults 21 and over. Here in New York, it remains illegal. Jenna DeAngelis, CBS News, New York.
Live right now on CBS News New York.
Breaking news, a terrifying scene in the Bronx after a partial building collapse. This is a live look at the scene in the Mott Haven section. You can see the whole corner of this building is gone, debris covering the ground below. Good morning and welcome to CBS News New York at 10 a.m. I'm Cindy Hsu. We are streaming live with your top stories of the day. We've been covering this gas explosion and collapse live all morning on CBS News New York. There is a massive emergency response as crews search through debris. Let's get right to Dan Rice, who's in Chopper 2, live over the scene right now. Dan?
And Cindy, this all happened at around 8:10 this morning. A ventilation shaft for an incinerator on this building here in the Mitchell Houses, 204, I believe it is, Alexander Avenue. An explosion inside that shaft separated that 70-foot by 100-foot shaft, from the building down to the ground. We started on the top of the building here, 20 stories high. You can see where all that brick got pulled away and just blew apart from the top of the building. Look at the air conditioning units on the right side of your screen. You can see the force at which that explosion happened, taking out those air conditioning units, destroying others in their windows. We come back down to the ground and you see nothing but a pile of bricks down here at the base of the building. I want you to look at that door that's on the left side of your video there. You got to figure that's about a 7-foot tall door, and the bricks go as high as that door, just about there. We look inside, you can see what remains of that unit that was at the base of this shaft down there. And look at the right side of that structure there. You can see 4 layers of bricks that made up that shaft, and yet all those bricks just blew apart outward into the street below. And you can see down there the pile of bricks that lay outside the building there. Now, when we arrived on the scene shortly after the explosion, we saw numerous fire department personnel digging through that brick to make sure nobody was caught under that debris field. They brought in a search dog at one point. We have seen 2 FDNY drones circling around the area to make sure there's no other damage, no other problems created by this. In the middle of your video down there, you can see water coming up from the ground. The DEP is on the scene assessing if there's a water issue down there. You can see some of the Con Ed folks down there doing their thing as well. Gas service to the building has been shut off now as they do their investigation. We were talking about the large response over here from the FDNY and from Con Ed, and you can see all those vehicles down there on the street. We can see the the NYPD putting out the barricades now to block off the area. We've seen front end loaders down there that are being brought in by Con Ed and in the FDNY to get ready to move some of those bricks out of the area. A very expansive operation down here, Cindy, as crews try to make sense as to why that explosion happened, taking down this ventilation shaft for that incinerator.
All right, live in Chopper 2, Dan Rice with the latest. Dan, thank you very much. And emergency crews rushed to the scene just after 8 a.m., where bricks, air conditioners, and debris came crashing down from the Mitchell Houses NYCHA complex. Our Natalie Duddridge has been on the ground since shortly after the news broke, talking to residents and getting incredible views of the damage. She spoke with 2 women who live in the building, and they described what they saw.
Coming back from dropping my kids off at school, and I saw smoke coming up from up the building over there. So I was like, oh, that doesn't look good, because how can there be like a lot of smoke like that in the fumes? The fumes was very, very thick and very dark. Before I saw it, I called 911 at 8:10, and the lady, I was explaining to the lady what I saw, and she was like, hold on, let me transfer you to the fire department. Before she was about to do the transfer, the whole building you heard a loud boom, and the thing just exploded and it fell down, just like that.
And what did you think when you heard that loud boom? You said you had just been dropping your children off to school.
Yes, I was thinking that it was a gas problem or somebody left their stove on and they went to sleep, not knowing that it's a problem with the building. Like, how can the building explode like that with people inside there?
So tell me where you were, what you heard.
I was in my room. I was in my room, had my son. He's 3 months. He had just finished feeding him. Lay on the bed. Next thing you know, you feel and you hear the big explosion. So I go outside, look out the window. I see people. They staring at the building. I'm like, what are they staring at? So then I see it again. Now I see like smoke like on the side. So I'm looking and they're like this. Get out the building. The building's collapsing. So me, my son, I just grab him. I go. I see people in the hallway. They running. They leaving everything. Somebody in the building next to me, they said that their window even fell. And it's on the 16th floor. So now I don't think that they're even going to let us back in, because there's a safety hazard.
The blast also appears to have damaged underground pipes, sending water bubbling up onto the streets. Nearby roads are closed and delays are piling up as crews from Con Edison and other agencies respond. We will continue to follow this breaking story all morning on CBS News New York at 11 a.m. and on CBS News New York at noon. Now let's take a look at your weather. Things have cooled off quite a bit. It's beginning to feel a bit like fall. Meteorologist Tony Sadiku has the latest.
I know, such a big disruption out there, Cindy. Good morning. And for so many residents standing outside, at least you're greeted by a nice, comfortable feel. Layers, hopefully they grab that. It's a bit on the chilly side this morning, up to 60 degrees. Just quickly want to revisit those morning lows we had this morning, and temperatures getting down as cool as 44 in Sussex. Montgomery got to 49. Poughkeepsie was 47. In and around town, as low as 56, which had our coolest morning so far this season. Now, we are bouncing back and on our way into the upper 60s. So we'll take our time to get there. There's a briskness to the breeze, so hang on to your hats. At times, those gusts, especially along the coast, could exceed 20 to 30 miles per hour. It's a good-looking afternoon. I mean, first day of October, feels like fall. I mean, ever since it became fall officially, it's been warmer than average, and all of a sudden now we're getting cooler than average, and fall's in full swing at least the next 3 days, where temperatures will be at or cooler than average. As cool as it is today, It's not as cool as it gets. It only lasts so long. I'll have a full breakdown in your full First Alert forecast.
Tony, thank you. The federal government shut down at midnight after the Senate failed to pass a funding deal, and the sticking point for Democrats was the cost of health care. But Republicans say they won't negotiate until the government reopens. Lawmakers are returning to Capitol Hill this morning for more possible votes as thousands of federal workers are expected to go without pay. Naomi Ruckham has more from the newsroom.
Today, tens of thousands of federal workers will be notified to stay home, furloughed without pay. Thousands of essential employees like military troops and air traffic controllers will report for duty, also without pay.
The bill, upon reconsideration, is not passed.
This comes after multiple proposals to keep the government funded past midnight failed in the U.S. Senate.
This is unnecessary, avoidable.
Senate Republicans pushed for the Clean House passed bill that extends funding into next month. Senate Democrats want a bill that also extends federal health care subsidies and protects Medicaid.
The bottom line is we need to stop these premiums from going up dramatically. We need to do it now.
President Trump now threatens mass layoffs and federal cuts directed at Democrats.
We'd be laying off a lot of people that are going to be very affected, and they're Democrats. They're going to be Democrats. We can get rid of a lot of things that we didn't want, and they'd be Democrat things.
The top House Democrat, Hakeem Jeffries, responded on CNN.
He will be held back by the courts if he takes this aggressive action, which violates the law.
For now, federal workers are bracing for impact.
I am the primary breadwinner of my household, so we will be tightening belts.
Americans will continue to receive Social Security and passports, though the TSA warns travelers to expect delays. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News.
Stay with CBS News New York for continuing coverage of the government shutdown. We'll have its impact on air and online at cbsnewyork.com. Also online, we are breaking down the history of government shutdowns and what it means for everything from travel to student loans. Happening today, more than 1 million New Yorkers who live in rent-stabilized apartments will have to start paying more. Back in June, the city's Rent Guidelines Board approved the new hikes. Elijah Westbrook has more from East Harlem on how much rent-stabilized tenants can expect to pay.
Good morning. Well, the rent hikes take effect right now as we speak, and they could range anywhere from 3% to 4.5%, depending on the leasing terms. Let's go ahead and break this down even further. 1 year